Hi, and welcome to another edition of Pastors Unplugged, or maybe it's Unleashed, or maybe Unglued in my case, but I want to continue the conversation we've been having. I got an email from Augsburg Fortress, which is our publisher for the ELCA, and they talked about this book. It's called Dear Church, and it's written by a Lutheran pastor in the ELCA who happens to be black. And it's a letter to the church to really reflect on and embrace the issues of racism. And I just started reading it, so I don't know all of the book yet, but I wanted to share with you some comments that he makes. And I think it's important to listen to these words. Most folks aren't actively racist, but you are passively participating in the spiritual and economic enslavement of every person of color in the ELCA. He's writing to the ELCA. And I think that's really true. None of us really think of ourselves as racist. But I think our silence when our voices were needed is the issue. And I was reading further, and he was saying, because I remember the time of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I was born in the 60s, so I'm certainly well familiar with him, his works. And the author of this book, it would be helpful if I told you that, was Lenny Duncan. And he said that about 30% of Americans were with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the height of his ministry. So a little less than maybe 1/3 of the country. And he also notes that now that's the exact same percentage that support Black Lives Matter today. And it kind of is eye-opening for me to think that in all this time, in all the years of my life, we haven't really moved where we need to move in terms of equality in this country and appreciating and valuing every person for their character, their values, instead of their skin color. And so I think there's work to be done. I hope you will join me in doing the work together. I do recommend the book, Lenny Duncan, an ELCA pastor, and I hope that we can have more conversations. As we have more conversations and we can appreciate the many views, we give thanks that God brings us together in fellowship with many different views and many different points of opinions, and talking together, we can learn from each other. And I think we really are called. This is an opportunity for the ELCA. This is an opportunity for those of us with white skin to make a difference in our communities and in our world. Thanks be to God. Amen.